Parliament will refer it to its committee, one of its committee.
The Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee.
Yes, one of its committee. They deliberate. They bring the report to Parliament. Parliament debates on it, and then a simple vote is done on it. In fact, when you look at our criminal act, our criminal code, it has undergone a lot of amendments, even single provisions. Just one single provision have been tabled before Parliament for consideration and be amended. Just a single provision of 2 lines. You understand?
Yeah,
so what prevents them from amending article is section 46? You understand? They can leave. They can leave section 49A because that one is even stated in the second optional protocol to the ICCPR that you can give someone, if someone is convicted of genocide, of war crimes, then it is apt that you prescribe the punishment of what? Death for the person. And even in that case, most of the time, it is something which is just on extreme circumstances, yes, if I will put it that way. So there's nothing preventing Parliament from considering this law. It is just that the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice has not seen the reason behind it. And I'm seriously surprised because she's a lawyer in the first place. Yeah. So I'm seriously surprised.
She didn't work at Commonwealth.
No, but would all lawyers support what you are saying?
I'll tell the truth. Not all lawyers will not support what I'm saying. But then when you look at the track record of the person who made that statement, you begin to wonder. Someone who's worked with the Commonwealth Human Rights Initiative, you've worked with legal aid, but women's rights. You understand? Who has got an issue of rights activism? You understand? You should expect that you should be a champion for the abolition of some of this archaic, despicable provisions in our acts. Okay. And I think they should be described with ugly words because they deserve it.
I think that's all. The lawyer has just said everything.
Okay, thank you very much. It's still your community watch on Focus 943. So what do you think? You think that these statutes or acts bordering on death penalty in this country should be abolished? 14060 type F, leave a space and follow with your message. It's still your community watch on Focus 943. It's actually 22 minutes to 9. Let's quickly jump over to the XTX Korea deal and what you think should be done about it. Should Ghana proceed with the deal, looking at the details and then the arguments from both sides of Parliament and government in particular. Let's start off from Bismarck Jose Champong. Yeah.
Yes, Adaki. In the first place, I must admit that I'm not. I don't have so much facts about this STS deal. Honestly, I haven't taken so much pain to do a lot of research about this company STS and their deal they are bringing to Ghana. But I think that what Honorable Mambami said yesterday was a waste of time of everybody. I mean, it's a hypocrisy at the highest standard. It's not the first time that somebody is opposing such an important bill like this. Has he forgotten that when they were in opposition, even national health insurance bill, didn't they oppose it? They opposed it to the extent that they walk out of Parliament when the bill was even passed. And up to now, as we are speaking here, go and see the Parliamentary Hansard. That it doesn't have the hand of the minority then in the passing of that National Health Insurance Act bill, which ultimately became an act. And up to now, as we are speaking here, the National Health Insurance is, I mean, if not the best health policy which has been introduced by any government across West African sub-region. I mean, during the regime of President Kufuor, they opposed so many important issues. But let's look at this STS deal. The minority are not saying that's not good. I mean, even before Chairman Samuel started talking in Parliament, he said that yes, it's very good because if the government is going to provide housing across the length and breadth of the country, obviously Ghanaians are going to benefit. They said it's very good. But they were just talking about due diligence. That due diligence should be done. That's exactly what they were talking about. And as we are all aware, it looks like we are delegating our sovereignty to the Koreans. I mean, how can you do that as a nation? If you do that as a nation, I mean, if you do that as as a nation, Ata, where are you going to? As a country, where are you going to if you do this? And let me tell you now, Bambebin, that if he has forgotten, if the government think that the proper scrutiny has been done about the deal, I mean, why didn't they pass it by using their majority in parliament? And the president saw the wisdom in withdrawing the bill. Why didn't they pass it? Of course, they have the majority, and they could have passed it. Why didn't they do that? But the president saw the wisdom of what the minorities were saying and thought it wise to withdraw it. And as we are speaking, they are saying that yes, they have just listened to the opinions of minority, the civil society organization and that stuff. And if you have listened to the opinion of the minority, the civil society organization who were talking about, that constitutes the civil society organization, don't forget. And they also talk about it very well. And if I'm to quote from his press statement yesterday, I said that after considering all shades of opinion from that of the opposition, the civil society, the government is bringing back why is saying that the minority are acting in a double standard way? Why is he saying that? He's rather being hypocrite. He wasted everybody's time. I mean, I don't know the reason why people even went there to listen to him. I mean, I'm not Babin. I know him to be a very good person who makes very good debates. But yesterday, he threw dust into the eyes of the public. And I know about Babin yesterday. I mean, shot himself in the foot. He shouldn't do that. Because he's a minister of state. He's not just an executive of the party. He's a minister of state who's being paid from the consolidated fund of this nation. He should be mindful of his utterances and that stuff, because what he did yesterday amounts to double standard and hypocrisy.
Lovey? It is an undeniable fact that when it comes to the issue of housing, is a very crucial matter. Is of great interest to the citizens of Ghana, and in fact to every government. Now, the past government tried the affordable housing project, which seems to have hit some rocks, and the current government sought to at least improve the housing situation. You know, when you look at the places our security agencies are sleeping, it's very despicable. When you go to Accra, getting around the Jamestown area, and you see the flats over there, police flats over there, you'll be so shocked, you'll be disheartened. You understand? But then, in as much as we try to solve situations, we should also not bring more cases upon ourselves. You understand? In solving one problem, you shouldn't create another problem for yourself. You understand? The reason why I'm saying this, now, I think both the majority and the minority in parliament have said time and time again that the STS deal, you understand, the concept of housing, building over 100,000 housing units, some for our security services, it's a very, very laudable idea. Notwithstanding the fact that the houses which will go into private citizens, the hands of individuals in the public, cannot be paid by them because they seems to be too expensive. Now, the problem is this. The problem is that nobody is opposed to the concept of making houses or providing houses for all and sundry. But the problem is that in you providing the housing, we should make sure that the agreements which you enter into do not, you understand, do not affect this country, the gains of this country. Now, let's look at the terms and agreements of you come to parliament, Minister of Waterworks and Housing, former majority leader in parliament. You come to parliament, table an agreement before parliament, which he says was a draft, which I'm totally shocked. Because if it was a draft, you shouldn't have even brought it to parliament, because the constitution, article 181, when we read clause 1 and clause 2, signifies that it is the agreement with the terms and conditions which has been agreed by both parties that you should bring to parliament for parliament to approve its operation, the operation of those terms. Now you bring an agreement to parliament, and then you admit that in drafting or in entering into such an international agreement, the advice of the Attorney General, the Chief Legal